Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
And good morning to you. A gloomy Sunday over the harbor here, but we're off to a good start. Temperatures are not that cold, but it was a little chilly this morning if you got out. I'm Taylor Stewart. Thank you for being here this Sunday eve of Halloween. Let's get right over to your forecast. Meteorologist Amy Aronson.
Yeah, we're watching the temperatures closely. After a chilly start, we are starting to see some 50-degree numbers reappear. We're currently at 50 in Owings Mills. Otherwise, a lot of us still hanging on to the chilly mid and upper 40s. But these numbers will all be improving, especially with the help of a little bit of sunshine today. Planning out the rest of your day, plan on the upper 50s by midday. This afternoon looks fantastic for whatever you want to do outside. Lots of Halloween parties and festivities happening this weekend. Weather's on our side. We'll continue to enjoy sunshine through the afternoon with highs making their way into the low 60s. Now, unfortunately, tomorrow doesn't look quite as nice, and that's because our next weather maker is moving in. I do have an updated look at the timeline of that and what it means for your trick-or-treating plans in just over 10 minutes. Taylor?
This morning, we got some breaking news for you. A man is in critical condition following a shooting in South Baltimore. Police responded to the block of Washington Avenue and 3rd Avenue just before 3 a.m. The victim was taken to the hospital. This shooting comes on the heels of another violent weekend here in the city. In all, at least 5 people shot in the last 24 hours. City leaders are speaking on the heavy toll the crime is taking here in Baltimore.
Nearing the end of October, on the eve of Halloween, and what has been a ghastly month of bloodshed in Baltimore. 4 shootings, one of them involving an officer. West Garrison and Park Heights Ave on the city's northwest side, where police say a 2 a.m. traffic stop led to a struggle between a police sergeant and the person they were trying to arrest. They say the suspect's gun went off, officers injured. Overnight, officers also called to North Gilmore Street. A 33-year-old man found shot inside a vehicle. He would not survive. That is Saturday.
They are surrounded by so much violence and death.
It's the hope in a higher power that drives faith in community leaders like Dr. Cleveland Mason to keep working for change. But on the heels of 12 murdered in 7 days during a stretch in early October, he was also reflecting on the despair the unrelenting violence is inflicting on people.
A lot of people who are not just disenchanted, but seriously depressed. It's difficult to wake up in the morning and be energetic about the day when you wonder who's going to get killed today.
There was a September slowdown in the cycle of killing, only to be painfully re-energized to 25 lives lost this month. And new questions now about what lies ahead.
Another Baltimore crime concern here, Squeegee kids. City leaders are still debating how to handle their presence at Baltimore City intersections. Mayor Brandon Scott and presumptive next city state's attorney Ivan Bates, they're divided on how to enforce the measure. One expert says that could cause some trouble down the road.
Squeegee kids are a hot button issue in Baltimore City right now. And it could lead to a contentious relationship between Mayor Brandon Scott and Ivan Bates, the likely incoming state's attorney.
I have been clear. I have not changed my stance. I understand, but they can't be there.
Bates telling Fox 45 News when he takes office, he supports the removal of Squeegee kids from city streets.
My job is to enforce the law. Stepping off that sidewalk, going in and out of traffic is illegal. And as far as I'm concerned, we cannot do that.
But Mayor Scott and the law department say squeegeeing is considered panhandling, which according to the Scott administration is protected free speech due to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling.
Split it with your friends, please.
Bates disagrees.
To me, there's a difference with panhandling, holding a sign very quietly in an area, not going in and out of traffic.
Right.
Going in and out of traffic is an action. Therefore, I believe that action is illegal.
Tensions between drivers and squeegee kids are at an all-time high after Timothy Reynolds was shot and killed by a squeegee kid in July after he got out of his vehicle and approached the group of kids with a baseball bat. Bates says if he has to, he'll issue citations. But in order to change policies on the enforcement of squeegee kids, Mayor Scott must be involved. And so far, Scott has refused to enforce the law.
by the end of next year, you may have a situation where you're going to have more of a conflict between Bates and Mayor Scott.
Political analyst John Deedy says the differing opinions between Bates and Scott could cause problems down the road.
It would not surprise me to see that type of contentiousness that would go back to the O'Malley-Jessamy era in Baltimore.
But Scott insists otherwise.
There is no division between me and our new incoming state's attorney. And what we're going to do with this collaborative that his folks are a part of is develop a strategy to deal with this issue altogether.
Bates says he and Mayor Scott have agreed to pause their conversation about the issue until the Squeegee Collaborative issues their recommendations, which are expected any day now.
Next year is very pivotal, more for Brandon Scott than it is Ivan Bates.
But one thing is clear. Bates is distancing himself from Marilyn Mosby's progressive policies and changes on the horizon for the state's attorney's office.
In many ways, Ivan Bates is the new sheriff in town. And people are going to look at him for leadership more than they're going to look at the mayor or the police chief. And they're going to look to him as the guy that they trust on crime.
A date has been set for Mayor Brandon Scott to announce the results of the Squeegee Collaborative. The collaborative has been meeting since July, but has not allowed cameras in to record its sessions. Fox 45 News reached out to the office to confirm that date. They said they would get back to us and the announcement will come soon. City leaders are trying to turn Baltimore back into a destination to be. A new Topgolf opened this week. It's nestled between I-95 and the stadiums. Residents say crime will always be a concern, but the new entertainment options, well, they're a nice step forward.
It's a city, right? There's always going to be crime, regardless if you're in Baltimore or not.
I think it'll be great. You know, everybody should just come to have fun with their families and enjoy Baltimore.
At Friday's official opening, Mayor Brandon Scott said he understood the safety concerns in the city, but also wants Baltimore to be a place people can come to enjoy themselves. It was a busy day on the campaign trail for Vice President Kamala Harris and top Democrats who came to Baltimore to campaign for gubernatorial candidate Wes Moore. Their message, bringing together what they feel is a divided America.
What's happening in our country right now, and I've been traveling our country, there's some scary stuff happening. We got to speak truth about that.
It is up to us to make sure that that America survives the hate and the division that too many purvey in our country.
President Biden is coming to Maryland the night before Election Day to campaign again with Wes Moore. Meanwhile, Fox 45 News caught up with Republican candidate Dan Cox at a rally. This was yesterday in Owings Mill. He said his top priorities are limiting crime and fighting inflation.
There are inflationary grocery values right now. I mean, you can hardly make the weekly budget. So we've got to take action, and the Washington politicians are not doing this for us. So let's make sure we keep the Washington politicians out of Maryland. That's why I'm asking for your vote.
We tried to attend a campaign event for Cox on Friday afternoon. Our cameras were turned away, though, as security let us know this was a private event. You know where you can find all of your voting headlines and upcoming reporting for the election on your Fox 45 voter guide. Go ahead and scan your phone, scan that QR code on your screen, rather, or just go to foxbaltimore.com/vote2022. Just ahead, the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, what the speaker is now saying about the assault.
And I would keep the rain jacket and the umbrella on standby for trick-or-treating tomorrow evening. You can leave the winter gear at home, though. I'll explain the reason why in just a couple of minutes. It's 10:39. You're watching Fox 45 Morning News.
We're still getting some stunning images out of South Korea this morning where at least 151 people are confirmed dead. They died after they were crushed by a large crowd during a Halloween party. Officials calling it the worst disaster in the country's history, and that death toll could continue to climb as more bodies are found. Police say the crowd surge happened when people tried to force their way down a really narrow alleyway toward a party. Police are still working to determine a motive for the attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul. Nancy Pelosi just released a statement saying her family is traumatized by the attack, but she says her husband's health is improving. Paul was assaulted inside of his San Francisco home on Friday morning. The suspect allegedly calling for Nancy Pelosi before he beat Paul with a hammer. He's now recovering from brain surgery. 42-year-old David DePape was arrested. He'll be arraigned on Tuesday for assault and attempted murder. For all your up-to-the-minute coverage, go ahead and download your FOX45 News app. It's in your app store. You can just search WBFF in that store. Still ahead on Sports Unlimited, college basketball. Yeah, it's right around the corner. How the Terps are preparing for the season, we check in with the head coach. And lacing up for a great cause at M&T Bank Stadium. The familiar MC at yesterday's charity run. Yeah, they might be familiar to you. Stick with us here on Fox 45 Morning News. All local, all morning.
Welcome into your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro. There's nothing punny about Isaiah Likely's last name or the unlikely situation he was in Thursday night against the Bucs. The rookie tight end out of Coastal Carolina wrote a new chapter in his NFL career. I guess you can call it a likely story. Mark Andrews left the game in the first half with a shoulder injury, and Isaiah Likely stepped up in a big way. 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And while it marked his first career NFL score, it's very likely he's going to do it again.
It felt great. I mean, always giving thanks to God and just really just living in the moment. I mean, my motto is just being where your feet are, not dwelling on the past, not living too far in the future, and just being where your feet are and playing every play like it's your last.
Even the inexperienced players stepping up. There is some serious talent.
I'm telling you, man, this rookie class is really good, and it's really impressed me so far through 7-8 weeks of the season.
I mean, Marlon Humphrey was calling Likely Baby Gronk on Twitter.
So Isaiah Likely's big game is one of many topics we talked about on our newest episode of Flock on Fox 45. Apple, Spotify, basically anywhere you listen to your podcasts, you can download, like, subscribe, and leave a review. We'll drop a new episode every week following the game. Towson football just ran through the CAA gauntlet, taking on 4 of the conference's top 5 teams, one after the other. Didn't go the way the Tigers would have hoped, though. Rob Ambrose's squad eyeing its first CAA win of the year, taking on Monmouth. Tigers down 7 early. Tyrell Pigram on play action, dials up to Kendall James. How in the world does he stay on his feet? 61 yards on the pass and catch, cuts the lead to 1. Tigers defense came to play too. Vinny Schaefer in for the sack. The lineman never stood a chance. 12-7 Monmouth here. Pigram takes it himself, finds pay dirt from 15 yards out. Big day on the ground for the Tigers. 5 rushing touchdowns in the 52-48 win. Morgan State hosting South Carolina State. Deuce Taylor in at quarterback. On the keeper, that's money. Bears lead 7-0 to the 4th. Too close for comfort. Javion Morton takes care of that to the house. 41-yard pick six extends the Bears' lead. Alfonso Graham, he once in on the action too. Just carving up the SC State defense. To the right, to the left, to the crib. 34-14 Morgan State. And the Bears weren't done. Bulldogs on offense. Caleb Coleman with the scoop. The score, Morgan State wins big. 41-14 the final score. Navy hosting the Temple Owls as AAC play continues. Midshipman on O. Ty Lavatai on the carry. And he would stay down after this one. Lavatai helped off the field eventually. Kenya Matalolo after the game announced that it's a season-ending injury. Very unfortunate for Navy's starting quarterback. Navy led 20-17 late, but the Owls would tie it on a 22-yard field goal. Camden Price ties it. This one would go into overtime. And in OT, Navy got the ball first, and the backup quarterback, Xavier Arline, came up big in the clutch. 23-yard touchdown. That gave Navy the lead. Midshipmen get the senior day win in OT, 27-20, the final score. In Division II action, Bowie State picked up a big 36-29 win over Elizabeth City State, snapping a 2-game losing streak. To Division III, McDaniel drops his 3rd straight, falling 14-3 to Moravian. In the MAC, behind a 3-touchdown game from Ryan Sedgwick and a strong defensive showing, Stevenson rolls past Misericordia. It's a tough one to say. Tried to say it multiple times. There we go. I guess I got it. 44-7, the final score. The battle for first place in the Centennial Conference as Johns Hopkins and Susquehanna went head-to-head. Riverhawks take the lead in the 3rd on a Hunter Coulter touchdown run. 4th quarter, Blue Jays down 8, so they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Ryan Stevens to Josh Poles, that's 6. The 2-point conversion,
into the end zone, and
no good. Johns Hopkins suffers its first loss on the year. 26-24 the final score. That's your morning sports report. I'm Rocco DeSangro. Have a great Sunday.
10:49 on this Halloween Eve. As we look ahead to Halloween, let's talk about some Halloween extremes from past years. The hottest Halloween on record dates back to 1946. We reached a balmy 85 degrees that year. In 1966, a very frigid 25 degrees. About 1.5 inches of rain in 1926, and then the year prior in 1925, 1/10 inch of snowfall. On average, our highs around 62 degrees, average low around 43, and that would be for October 31st. This year looks like it's going to be pretty typical and pretty quiet. Mostly cloudy currently, with temperatures hanging out in the cooler upper 40s. Eventually, we should see some sun break through the clouds, and that's going to help our temperatures warm. This is our next weather maker. That's what's actually moving in for Halloween tomorrow. It's going to keep us cloudy and also send us a brief shower chance. We were dealing with that frost advisory earlier. That's that purple you see here on the map. That has since disappeared now that temperatures are improving, and will continue to warm today through the upper 50s into the low 60s again. Today looks similar to what we enjoyed yesterday. Come Monday for Halloween, the clouds are here. Overcast to kick things off in the morning, but still dry. By the afternoon, we start to see this happen. Showers trickle in from the west. And this updated forecast model is unfortunately showing a little more green now, just in time for trick-or-treating. That means I would have the umbrella and the rain jacket ready to go just in case. Now, this light green is just indicating light rain. It's not really heavy stuff. It's not going to be a complete washout, and it shouldn't last all night long. So as things wrap up, as festivities wrap up, looks like the rain's getting out of here, and we are just just left behind with some very, very spotty showers late Monday heading into Tuesday. And temperatures will actually be a little milder tomorrow. Today's pretty typical for late October standards. We will enjoy some sun this afternoon, highs ending up in the low 60s. Today looks good, though. If you have any parties or Halloween activities outside, I think you're still in good shape today. Tonight's actually not a bad one by the fire pit. If you want to roast some s'mores, it's going to be decent because temperatures won't be quite as chilly, and we have the clouds to thank for that. Clouds rushing in, keeping our overnight lows in the mid-50s. Now let's talk about trick-or-treating. We start off mostly cloudy. I did throw that shower chance in because we will be dodging them on and off throughout the evening. Sunsets at 6:06, but temperature-wise, we are in good shape, with temperatures hanging out in the mid and actually low 60s through the course of the evening. After Halloween, temperatures are really warming up. Low 70s are back Tuesday and Wednesday. After we get that rain chance out of here on Tuesday, we're in good shape for the rest of the week, and actually temperatures will stay a few degrees above average, upper 60s, low 70s all the way through next weekend. Taylor?
All righty, and remember, you can always track our severe storms even when you're not on the air. You can download that free Fox 45 Weather Authority app. It's in your app store. Just go there and search WBFF. All right, the results are in, and the best spots to trick-or-treat in Maryland, well, they've been published. This survey from Kuru Footwear considered population size, safety, income level, and Oakland, Tacoma Park, and Chevy Chase, those took the top 3 spots. Annapolis came in at number 4. Yeah, coming off of a big win, you may be wondering how the Ravens spent their free weekend. Well, rookies Kyle Hamilton and Pepe Williams went to the Haunted House, and apparently their toughness was not enough to keep them from screaming from those ghouls and goblins and whatever that was. Now, happy to report they did get out of that house without any injuries, and it seems like they'll be okay to play in our next game. We want to see how all of you guys are getting ready for Halloween, just one day away. Are you last minute, or do you have your full candy trunk? Let's see your decorations and your costumes. Go ahead and add them there to chime in. You can do that at foxbaltimore.com/chime in or the app. You might have missed a great chance to get out and support a great cause at M&T Bank Stadium. Now, Fox 45 is this year's media sponsor of Lace Up Against Child Abuse 5K and Family Fun Walk. It raises money for child abuse prevention and victims and parental resources. Our very own Lady T was the MC at the event. She just brought her usual sass and charisma.
Baltimore, are y'all ready to run? If you're ready to run today, let me hear you say, oh yeah. If you're ready to walk today, let me. Okay, don't say anything apparently. DJ Kopeck cutting me off like that.
Yeah, it'd be an oh no for the run for me, but Fox 45, we partnered with the Family Tree. They also and 24-hour parenting hotline. A little cool this morning, but as the sun comes up, oh, it's way up now. It's looking pretty out there. Look at that shot. We've got your 7-day forecast exclusively here on Fox 45 News. We'll be right back.
10, 56 on this Sunday morning. Looks a little cloudy right now, but look how pretty the fall colors look in the distance there. Beautiful shades of yellow and orange and red showing up. Looks pretty vibrant out there in contrast with the gray skies. Eventually, we should see some sun return this afternoon. Today's going to be similar to what we enjoyed yesterday. That means you get the green light for any Halloween parties or anything you're doing outside. Low 60s today. Little milder tomorrow for Halloween. That's the good news. The bad news, yeah, there's a chance of showers. And it does look like that will come right around trick-or-treating time. So just have a rain jacket ready, I know, to throw over the costume just in case. A few showers will linger through Tuesday, but after that, it is milder next week. So beyond Halloween, we're in great shape. Low 70s are back as we kick off November, and they stick around through the end of the week, heading into next weekend. It's going to be warm.
I hate to say this, though. I feel like everyone was hoping for no rain on Halloween. That was the one day everyone was probably hoping for no rain.
It's going to be a close call. Hopefully it won't be a washout. I don't think it's going to be a washout.
Okay. Bring your umbrellas. Have a great week here.